Hello there, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I hope you all can hear me all right. My old mic broke, so I've got this new one here, and this is me testing it out. In any case, today we're going to be discussing Threads That Bind. I absolutely loved this book so much. This was the book club pick for Barnes and Noble. And oh my god, I absolutely love Greek mythology so much. Like, you have no idea how much I love Greek mythology. Or maybe you do if you are an avid listener of me. You know, Greek mythology. Here are my three things that I will always pick up. Anything witchy, anything with dragons, and anything Greek mythology related, or mythology related in general. Those are like my top three favorite genres of literature. I will devour anything. Will I always like it? Probably not. But this is a book I absolutely did love for a number of reasons. First of all, it follows Io. So she is the youngest of three sisters, and basically it's noir. It's a noir mystery. Io is a private investigator. She's descendant of the goddesses of fate. You know, so she is the one who cuts the lifeline, or she can cut your love of something. But in doing so, she has to sacrifice something she loves. I thought that was such a nice little detail. She's such a good character too, and she has a really strained relationship with her oldest sister, who, by the way, I don't like her at all. She is incredibly toxic and manipulative, and she's just a terrible human being. And when you see the way that Io remembers her older sister, it's just like, wow, she's awful to you. She was awful to you. She was toxic. And it was just such a journey to go on it with Io, to see how she grew into herself after this toxic environment, and how, even though her relationship with her sister is very strained because of that, she still loves her sister, but she grows into herself, you know, whereas when she was younger, she didn't really have much of a backbone. You see her in every instance with her oldest sister really just stand up for herself. And I'm of the mentality of, it's okay to let go of something when it's hurting you. You can love something even though it hurts you, but that doesn't mean you have to deal with it and you have to tolerate it. You are allowed to stand up for yourself. You are allowed to fight for yourself. And Io goes on that journey. While she's trying to solve this mystery of these wraiths, which, that whole element of the story, I mean, the wraiths are people who they're walking around when they shouldn't be walking around. Again, Io can see the lines of fate, you know, your threads of fate, rather. Their lifelines are cut. They're just carrying them limply in their hands. And they have superhuman strength, and it's just like, what in the heck is going on with these wraiths? Like, what is this mystery? And it all ties back to the Furies, and something no one ever wants to talk about. It's all connected, and it's very, very interesting how the author decided to bring about these Greek gods in a way, in a mortal veil, because they are mortal. They're just descendant of the gods. You know, they have their powers, but they can still die of old age. They do have powers, but it doesn't make them immortal. So it's really interesting to see this kind of Sin City-like city, filled with godly mortal beings, demigods, I guess you can say, and how power has corrupted. I mean, the Nine Muses, like that. You think of the Nine Muses, you think of these demure, helpless goddesses almost, but here they are conniving and they are deadly, and that's just one example of how the author was able to really bring a freshness to Greek mythology retelling by putting the Greek myths into a mystery setting, into an urban fantasy setting, and making it a little bit more contemporary while still having those really heavy fantasy themes to the storytelling. And when you have a character as strong as Io, who's also struggling with her soulmate, I mean, she discovered she has a fate thread. Her fate thread is her soulmate thread, and she doesn't want to force anything. She wants things to be natural. She doesn't want to be like, oh, well, you're my fate thread. She contemplates even cutting her fate thread because it's like, I'm taking away his will. But if someone gave her this fate thread, it was a god, and the gods are supposed to be dead. How did this thread form? It's really, really interesting to see the soulmate trope kind of subverted and reinvented in a way, and I really do appreciate that, because the soulmate trope kind of bugs me overall. It's not one of my favorite tropes, just like the insta-love trope, not one of my favorites. But I do think that authors, if they're really good at writing and storytelling, they can do those tropes and make them engaging. And that's what the author did here with the soulmate trope, because that's usually one of my least favorite tropes. And here, I was here for it, especially because he is such he is just the sweetest person, and he's like this big buff guy. He's like a bouncer. That's how he's described, kind of a bouncer. But he's such a sweet and kind person. He doesn't like violence. He will use violence to defend, but he does not like violence. And I love that about him, and I love their dynamic, and I love how they grow with one another, and I love how they just bounce off each other and develop alongside the story. So I'm super excited for the sequel of this book. The cover, if you have not seen it, you have not seen the cover of this book, oh my god, just Google it, first of all. The sequel is titled Hearts That Cut, and let me just tell you, Io is fierce on this cover. She is fierce, and this is just a duology, and I am excited. I am here for it. So yeah, definitely I give Threads That Bind 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely amazing novel. Please go check it out, especially if you want a really unique way of retelling Greek myths. So yes, 4 out of 5 stars. I will include links in the description below and where you can purchase the book if you so desire. And on that note, thank you again for tuning into this podcast. Please don't forget to like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with all your book loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.